Right field, going back to the benches, Wallace, yes, sir, that ball is gone, and Ammonium rain. Sponsored by the Hill Bar and Grill in the Fort on Forest Avenue. Rock Solid Sports, the only show with a home field advantage for UT Athletics. Here's tonight's host.
Welcome in, everyone, to Rock Solid Sports. I'm your host, Joseph Bonato, here on this Friday edition, Friday, July 8th edition. Next to me, Kat Hoover. On StreamYard, we have Justin Clemmer, and over at our gracious sponsor, the Hill Bar and Grill, we have Connor Smith. Connor, how is the Hill tonight? So, yeah, inclement weather. Looks pretty bad outside. Thunderstorms rolling in. Hopefully, those of you who are going to the Hill get some shade in and get out of it and go to the Hill. You know, get out of the rain. Go to the Hill and enjoy the All Star Game, or the All Star Game starters are getting announced tonight. I'm sure
I think right now, actually.
Yeah, they starts right now. So we'll get later. We'll get into that later in the show. We also have Justin Clemmer. Justin, how's it going?
What's going on, guys? I'm back home in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, enjoying my summer. But yeah, sports don't stop. I've been watching a lot of the NBA Summer League going on and been paying attention to what's been going on in their free agency. And then, yeah, just been enjoying my time off. How y'all doing?
Doing pretty good. And back in Murfreesboro, where both of us are from.
I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, me and Justin both back from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. So went to the same high school, actually, Central Magnet. Shout out them.
Right.
Yeah. So, anyways, pretty busy week for Tennessee athletics this week so far, especially with football, because the recruiting has been absolutely nuts this week, and we'll get into that. But first, probably, in my opinion, something that's really important. Have you guys seen the new Vol sign that is now officially up on Neyland?
Yes.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so it's these big orange boxes. They have a black border. They got white VOLS. They're all separate. All of them, they're separate, and they're on the top of Neyland, and they look amazing.
They really do. I know. Yeah, back in the olden days, actually, there's a video of my parents when they went here, and they were like sitting in the front row in the student section of them in the jumbotron. You can see it all the way in the back, and it's so nice.
The thing with these letters is like Connor said, they used to be on the stadium. Neyland Stadium used to have these letters. Now they were a little bit. These are a different era, but the ones that they brought out last year for one of the games for fans to take pictures of. Those were a variation. So these letters are from like way back. The letters that they brought back to put out in front of the stadium for like the pictures and stuff, those were kind of the newer ones. And so when fans saw those, they called out to Danny White. They said, "Danny White, we want these letters back." Yeah. And Danny White, guess what? Snapped his fingers, and the letters are now on Neyland.
Listen, retro is the new cool. Like, I like it a lot. It's it's a callback. It looks so nice.
Yeah, I've really liked everything they've been doing with the.
Well, no, those were the originals, but like the design of the letters are this is more of the design. So they used to have the ball letters that looked like in orange boxes, and those used to be up there. Then they changed it to the ones that were in the white boxes. Those are the ones they brought out last year, I believe, during the South Carolina game, where they brought out the black uniforms. And so these are kind of a more modern version of the very first boxes that got put on Neyland that said balls that are orange instead of white, because a lot of people said that they'd rather have the orange ones than the white ones. And I got to agree. Danny White and the University of Tennessee that put this together looks amazing.
Yeah, it 100% does. It makes it look cleaner, a little slick,
Yeah.
Well,
there's no better place to play than a really nice renovated stadium. That's exactly what Neyland is. It's exactly what all of these recruits are seeing right now And speaking of recruiting, this week for football has been absolutely phenomenal for Josh Heupel and his staff. So in the past week, 3-star defensive end Tyree Weathersby committed, 3-star athlete Christian Conyer, who was also was supposed to go or between Tennessee and Kentucky, chose Tennessee. He committed. 5-star athlete Jonathan Eccles also committed. So 3 really big signings that we kind of talked about on a previous show. But in the past 2 days, Tennessee has landed 2 of the biggest recruits of this class, not named Nico Yamaleava. That is 4-star athlete Cameron Selden. He committed yesterday. And today, the big guy, 4-star 2023 offensive lineman Sham Umarov committed. Selden, when he committed, put Tennessee as the number 7 2023 class nationally, number 2 in the SEC according to 24/7 Sports. And then when Umarov, the offensive lineman, committed today, Tennessee was jumped into the number 6 recruiting class of 2023 and the top spot in the SEC according to 24/7 Sports. So I just want to kind of go around the room and what do we think of this recruiting class? Maybe these specific guys that just and Umarov and Selden that just committed, and what are we thinking? And what are we kind of grading these recruits? And what are kind of some of the expectations for the recruiting class? So I'll start off with Umarov. He's 6'6", 325 pounds. He's the number 204 overall 24/7 Sports recruit, the number 31 offensive tackle in the country. And when the Vols missed out on Maui, who was a 5-star offensive tackle who committed to Miami a few days ago, this was kind of the big question mark of who we were going to get. And then Sham Umarov, 4-star offensive line, committed today and completely turned the tide for how a lot of these recruiting analysts are feeling about Tennessee. So now I turn it to you guys. How are we feeling about Tennessee with these previous 2 commitments and just this week of recruiting as a whole?
I'm excited. I'm really excited. I'm excited to see this team play, and I'm excited for all these new recruits coming in. Hopefully they'll, do something exciting, do something special for the team because we really need it, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Josh Heupel's done a great job. And obviously when you have a 5-star quarterback with the social media presence, the kind of the air around him, the hype around him as Nico Yamaleava does. But when you have that kind of talent coming in as quarterback and who is set to be the future leader of this team, you're going to get all these big guys, especially offensive linemen who are going to want to go protect him. You're going to get wide receivers who want to go catch passes from him. You're going to want to get running backs who want to make plays for him. I mean, all these guys are going to come in. But I agree with you. Josh Heupel really needs to step it up. Well, I mean, Christian Conyer, he's listed as an athlete, but he's really a defensive back. And he's a really good defensive back at that, 3-star. Again, Tennessee kind of fought out Kentucky to get him on their team. But Josh Heupel, I think, overall has done a really good job recruiting. And we may not see the results this coming season because – or at least not a lot of the results that people want because all of these guys are from the 2023 class. I mean, now Tennessee really, really strong 2023 class. And that's because Josh Heupel's now had a full year to kind of connect with these guys. It's really hard when he came in last year when the recruiting cycle for 2022 class is kind of already over, or at least at the end of things, to get guys for this year. So now you're kind of thinking, as fans, do you expect more out of this team this coming season and the 2022 season, knowing all of the hype surrounding next year in 2023 with all of these recruits coming in? And as a team, what does Tennessee have to do to kind of, I guess, show that these expectations or that they're building and that the expectations aren't too high for them?
Conference shakeups happening out, but I think it's great news for Tennessee in the SEC that Tennessee is going to be able to build off of everything we did last year, because I think last year was a much better season in hindsight. If you consider the fact that Hendon Hooker did not start the first 2 games of that season. So in hindsight, I think that's a great, and then also if you want to take into consideration, how the bowl game factored out. But I mean, you could arguably add 3 wins to that team last year if Hooker, goes into that season as a starter. So I think, obviously this year we do lose, a couple of receivers, a little bit on the offensive side, but I think this is a great year for Hooker to have another year in the offense, to build, really to branch, to be a huge branch year for next year. I think this is a major
I definitely agree. I think, a good team needs to have a good foundation, good chemistry, because I feel like in the last couple of years, Tennessee really hasn't really had that, in my opinion. From what I saw last year, I saw something, within the team that I was like, maybe this could have some potential, and hopefully this year will be, 10 times better than it was last year. That's all but then again, that's all we can do as Tennessee fans is just hope, but I don't know. I feel really confident about this team this year and everything. So I'm looking forward to this coming season.
Well, the thing with this season is a lot of people are expecting a lot from this team. I mean, we saw what they could do last year. We saw the potential of Tennessee with Josh Heupel at the head.
Yeah.
We saw what a new renovated offense can do that's more modern and focuses on that, that Josh Heupel pass game that's really fast paced, but also incorporating the run game. And the biggest thing with last year is obviously the defense trying to, get good enough to keep up with the offense. And obviously you're going to have your struggles in your defensive struggles in that type of system. But the expectations going into this year, especially with this 2023 recruiting class, they're extremely high.
Yeah, they're very high, but I feel like they should be, but I can also see, maybe the players will get a little nervous because they're expected to be amazing. Like, I want them to be good, and they probably will be good, but we won't know until that first game. And, like Joseph said, like they showed what they could do last year, and hopefully they'll bleed into this year. I want the team to show what they're made of. Show them why Tennessee should always be remembered and everything.
Yeah, you said team probably has a lot of pressure on them this year compared to last year. That's for sure, because last year they weren't expected to make the bowl. They were expected to be, one of the worst teams in the SEC East. And now we made a bowl. We got all this excitement around the city, around the town.
Exactly,
It's like the most – if there was an approval rating we could look at for the Coach Heupel, it would probably be the highest approval rating we've gotten from a Tennessee coach, in a long time.
In a good minute.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
100%.
I mean, well, because when you're talking about approval rating of Josh Heupel and his staff and what he's done so far in year one, and what he's done in his first full off season, you got to compare it to the last few coaches. So so Butch Jones, Jeremy Pruitt, and then everyone before the Butch Jones era, which is just a mess.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah,
We're
still getting Heupel's still dealing with like some players from like the Pruitt recruiting class, and this, y'all were talking about the recruiting class of this year, how good it's been. It's amazing. This is like his first go at it, really, because of when he was hired last year.
The thing with Heupel is when he came in to Tennessee, his biggest notch was, okay, yeah, he can coach, he can draw up schemes, he can build an offense, but he can't bring in the players to compete in the SEC. And in his first full off season as head coach and his first full recruiting cycle, he's already gotten the Vols a top 10 class, almost top 5 class for 2023. He's gotten them on top of the SEC so far. Now, things could change. There's a lot of time between now and 2023 and when those 2023 commits start to sign. So guys can decommit, go other places, get different offers, especially in the big wide world of NIL. Things are not settled. But if this is kind of a look on how Josh Heupel is going to handle recruiting, no one in the Tennessee fan base, no one on the Tennessee team should be worried about Josh Heupel.
I'm not worried.
He is doing something, and this kind of thing. This expectations for Heupel were low, so right now, like seeing all of these things, this is like insane.
However, back it up. Like
when he gets into now, if Tennessee starts to win and starts to win a lot, and then eventually go and start winning SEC titles, or at least competing for SEC titles. I'm not going to say win for SEC titles, but start competing SEC titles. Then that's when Josh Heupel, those expectations of this type of recruiting class are going to become the expectation that this is the norm. Not that this is something that is all of a sudden. This is going to be starting to be the norm. And that's where I think we're really going to learn what Josh Heupel is what he can do following a great recruiting class like 2023.
Yeah, and this is 2022, first year. Let's see how he does in the following years. But, you can really tell that the kids, they really like that flashy offense that Heupel brings, the high volume, quick pace, just throwing the ball around. That's kind of the way that football is going now. And, you build it, people will come, and we're building it right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, development is the biggest thing. And schools like Georgia, Alabama, Florida even, they are known for developing recruits. And so if Tennessee wants to get on that level in the SEC and that level nationally, then he's going to have to, take the next step and show that, okay, I can bring these guys in, and I can turn them into stars on the field, and obviously respectable men off the field, because with social media and everything, you got to have both sides. But from what I've seen in 1 year of Josh Heupel, I have no doubt in my mind he can do that. Now he just got to actually go out and do it. He's kind of thrown out the groundwork for, this is the kind of program I'm going to run. These are the type of recruits I'm going to bring in, and this is how I'm going to turn Tennessee in. But now he's got to actually just continue to do it, and he's just got to put out results. That's all we can really wait. All the hype, it's going to be there. It's going to float around. But for Josh Heupel, he just got to put out results. And so far with this 2023 recruiting class, the results are definitely there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, yeah, I completely agree with that, Connor. Like, he
Volunteer Radio.
It's the best show in the universe.
And congratulations to Derek and Rob, hosts of the Funhouse. They're being voted Knoxville's finest radio celebrities in the Blank Newspaper 2021 Knoxville's Finest Readers Poll. Tune in Friday nights from 8 to 10 and find out.
Raven Records and Rarities, holler.
It's for the 2022 now. Renovations will be ready for the new season. A link is at WUTKRadio.com. 90.3 The Rock wishes Coach Heupel and the football Vols good luck this season on the gridiron.
Hey kids, it's Derek.
And Rob from the Funhouse.
Brought to you each Friday night by Raven Records and Rarities, 1200 North Central in Happy Holler.
Join us each Friday at 8 o'clock as we kick off your weekend.
Local stuff.
Hip-hop, Americana, metal.
Who knows? We don't even know half the time.
Right here on 90.3 The Rock.
Volunteer Radio remains on the air thanks to support from Tennessee Smokies Baseball, the AA Southern League affiliate of the Chicago Cubs, whose 2022 regular season schedule features 6-game homestands Tuesdays through Sundays at nearby Smoky Stadium in Kodak against the Chattanooga Lookouts, Mississippi Braves, Birmingham Barons, and more. WUTK's Rock Solid Sports will cover Smokies Baseball all season long. SmokiesBaseball.com, and a link is at WUTKRadio.com.
Thanks to support from Moon River Music Festival, September 10th and 11th along the river in Chattanooga.
Pat, she knows what she's doing. She's just, I don't know, she
I
is
think
younger.
the biggest key.
Yeah. Yeah, she's younger. And she's confident. You got what you're doing. All the players respect her. Like I was gonna say earlier, she has the Pat Summitt stare down. I would watch the games. I could. How she's handling this. Other teams should fear.
But that she's trying to take certain aspects of Pat, and but like at the same time, like she's not trying to be a carbon copy of Pat Summitt, but at the she's not going to not use what made Pat successful. Versus, I think Holly maybe was trying too much
to be
the
Pat.
Exact carbon copy, the exact carbon copy, and I think Holly's able to take her younger vibes and relate more to the players, but also take what she learned as a player from Pat.
Exactly. And
everything.
That's the thing that matters. Players look up to their coaches. The thing with Holly, she was the assistant for Pat. She only saw the coach's side, I guess. And,
Precisely.
Kelly had the player's point of view, and she knows what she likes in a coach, and she's using it to her full advantage. And she saw what she liked about Pat. And, she's just doing a great
As Hannah Montana said, best of both worlds.
Exactly. Oh, my girl Hannah. We love Hannah Montana.
Yeah.
But she's just doing amazing.
Yeah, and the Lady Vol basketball team, not the only team who had success last year. The Lady Vol soccer team,
girls,
who are now under new head coach, Coach Kurt.
Yeah.
Coach Joe Kurt, not Joe Dirt, not from the movie, but Joe Kurt. But they announced their 2022 schedule. They get things started off with an exhibition game, at Louisville against Notre Dame. They feature home games against SMU, Duke, Tennessee Tech. Then for their SEC schedule, they will face Missouri, LSU, South Carolina, and Vanderbilt at home. On the road in the SEC, they'll play Florida, Kentucky, Mississippi, Georgia, and Auburn. They'll also have Alabama at home as well. And this is a team that's coming off a really strong season, a really strong couple of seasons, and that was under head coach Brian Penske. So now that they're under a new head coach Joe Kurt, just what are we kind of expecting from this Lady Vol soccer team? Because it's not like they went out and hired someone else. They hired someone within the system.
Exactly, yeah.
So there shouldn't be much of a change.
Much of a difference. But, it's a new coach. You never know how things are going to run with a new coach. It doesn't matter if they're in, the same kind of system. It's still going to be new. The players are still going to have to get used to the changes. So, I hope they have a great season. And I'm not saying they won't because, we're pretty good. We've been good for years. And so, with this new change, I hope that, he can continue on,
learn all the the old established what you
am really
phenomenal. Not making sure that our teams are where they're at now, but keeping our teams. Like when he took over, no team in Tennessee went backwards, if that makes sense. He's made sure that every single one of our sports programs here at the university has gone forward, and I appreciate that so much, to be honest. Like he is not just an AD who cares about football, basketball. That's it. You know what I'm saying? He cares about every sport across the board, and I really respect that. So honestly, under Danny White, I have a lot of faith moving forward in anything Tennessee.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I completely agree. Danny White has done a phenomenal job, and we'll just see how that continues into this next season. All these great athletics. All right, we're gonna go to another quick break, but when we come back, we're gonna switch it over to pro sports, talk some NFL. The MLB is the All Star starters are now being announced. We'll get our reactions on that, all that and more here on Rock Solid Sports on 90.3 The Rock.
At 11 a.m. until late night for dining indoors or on the expanded patio. The Hill
I'm a big fan. I get it.
I start judging you as
Things at the Hill great. Some technical with Justin.
Just
Of them, I think they
pickup for Baker, and I think I'm really high on DJ Moore no matter what. But I think with Baker Mayfield behind quarterback, I think DJ Moore can probably go for like easy 1,250 receiving yards. Possibly like 6-8 touchdowns, easy. So I mean, I got a lot of faith in what Baker. I mean, Baker's had good offenses around them no matter what. But I mean, I think the play calling is really what's been Baker's demise so far in the NFL. If you don't want to count injuries, but I mean, play calling and injuries, I think Baker's far and away better than Sam Darnold. I mean, I've seen what I needed to see from Sam, but we disagree to disagree, or what is it? Agree to disagree.
Okay, can y'all hear me? I think it's working now. Okay, finally. Okay, yes. So I just jumped in. I finally heard the audio and I heard Connor talking about Sam Darnold. Yeah, he's awful. He had maybe 10 touchdowns last year, and you talk about DJ Moore. DJ Moore had 4 touchdowns last year, which is like abysmal for a player at his talent.
Over 1,000 yards though. Still had over 1,000 yards.
Yeah, it's crazy. So now give him a serviceable quarterback. I'm not going to say too many good things about Baker, but he is serviceable. He is not he is deserving of a starting job, unlike Sam Darnold. So yeah, good move for the Carolina Panthers, and now they can compete for that second spot in the division because they won't touch the Buccaneers, but they'll be better than the Falcons, and then we'll see about the Saints.
All right. So that does it for NFL news. Now we're going to switch over to Major League Baseball, where next week the Vols will have some guys possibly get drafted. A couple first-round picks in Jordan Beck, Drew Gilbert, Blake Tidwell, possibly Ben Joyce. Trey Lipscomb would be a top-round pick as well. Also some possible draft prospects, Darrell Ortega, Seth Stevenson, and Cortland Lawson as well. So look for those guys to have their name called. We'll talk about that more on next week as we get closer to the draft. But tonight, the MLB announced their All-Star starters for the 2022 All-Star Game taking place in Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. That game will be played on July 19th. So I'll go through the list. For catcher, the National League catcher, Wilson Contreras, the American League catcher, Alejandro Kirk from the Blue Jays, Wilson Contreras on the Cubs. First baseman, it's Cardinals first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt. It is Blue Jays first baseman, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. for the American League. At second base, National League second baseman, Jazz Chisholm off Miami, and Jose Altuve for American League off Houston. Third base, Manny Machado from the Padres, and Rafael Devers from the Red Sox. Shortstop, Trey Turner wins the National League shortstop starting position, and Tim Anderson wins the American League shortstop starting position. The designated hitter for the National League, Bryce Harper, who will not play due to a broken hand. And then for the American League, Shohei Ohtani, the man that can do it all. And then for the outfield for the National League, Braves, Ronald Acuna Jr., Dodgers, Mookie Betts, Giants, Jock Peterson. For the American League, Yankees, Aaron Judge, Angels, Mike Trout, and Yankees, Giancarlo Stanton. So just kind of initial reactions, maybe some snubs that you see in there. What do you guys think of the All-Star starters and who was announced tonight?
I think it looks good. I think it looks great.
I have a lot of grievances.
I think I know where a couple of your grievances are, and we're going to start with our National League shortstop and Trey Turner versus Dansby Swanson.
Oh yeah, that one's not as egregious. Just because like that one was arguable. Okay, I think really what's more egregious, I think, is the fact that Wilson Contreras beat out Travis d'Arnaud. I don't think Vladdy should have been the AL vote for first base. I don't think Manny should have beat out Austin Riley. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Braves fan. For everyone else who's like, Manny Machado is better than Austin Riley is the only player in all of Major League Baseball this year, both divisions, or not divisions, says AL and NL, to have 20 home runs and 20 doubles. So, take that with what you will. I think, obviously I think Dansby should have probably beaten out Trey Turner, but, LA, Bryce Harper, I do think that is deserving, but obviously, I will say this as a Braves fan, I don't want to see William Contreras be the desert. I think I saw that he was like the second place vote getter.
He was behind Bryce Harper, and with Bryce Harper not being able to start, that could open the door for William Contreras to be the starters. So
good for him, but wrong call if you're being a purist. And then I will say I don't think Giancarlo Stanton should have made the All-Star team either, or at least been a starter.
I don't know, 20 home runs, having one of his best offensive seasons in a while. But Yankees, they're always going to get that face time. So yeah, a couple of question marks. Dansby Swanson and Trey Turner. I think those two were pretty much neck and neck. I think it could have gone either way. I think Trey Turner kind of got the benefit of having the Los Angeles Dodgers as his team, and having that fan base support him. And that's the reason being out Dansby. Dansby having one of the best seasons he's ever had. He's batting close to 300. He's got 14 home runs. He leads shortstops in almost every single category you can think of, both defensively and offensively. And him and Trey Turner have just been there at the top. I think Dansby Swanson's been more of an all-star just because of how he's affected the Braves compared to how Trey Turner's affected the Dodgers. But my few votes that I voted for Dansby Swanson weren't enough to get him to the top. And then for designated hitter, Shohei Ohtani for the American League over Yordan Alvarez for Houston. I think that I love Shohei Ohtani. I think Shohei Ohtani is an all-star. I think he would have been an all-star pitcher. I think he would have been an all-star bench player as well. But Yordan Alvarez having one of the best seasons you've seen from a Houston Astros.
I have Yordan over Giancarlo, so that's where I think my discrepancy was.
Well, there's
he
that
does play
too.
left field.
Yeah, he does. So we'll find out the rest of the lineup in the pitchers later on. But those are your starting fielders and DH for the All-Star Game happening on July 19th. Now, what I tried to do earlier, I'm going to kick it over to our guy, Justin, to give a quick update on some Tennessee Vols in the NBA Summer League. Justin?
Yeah, so the Summer League is just kicked off in Las Vegas. They had a few games in Utah and in California. And in those games, Kennedy Chandler played 2. He started both of them. Played about 22 minutes a game, got 10 points, 3 steals a game, and 3 assists. So he's already making a quiet impact for the Grizzlies. They re-signed Tyus Jones, but it'll be
contract too by a second-round player too.
Yeah,
that's true.
He was the 38th pick. Fell. We all thought he was going to be a first-round pick, but he fell. But yeah, like you said, doesn't really matter because he's getting all that money. And then we got 6 other Vols in the Summer League. We got Keon Johnson with the Trailblazers, with Kyle Alexander. And Keon Johnson played last night. He had 21, looked really good, was their leading scorer. Then you got Schofield with the Magic, Jaden Springer on the Sixers, Yves Pons, one of our favorites. He'll be with the Nets. And then lastly, Jordan Bone is on the Celtics for their Summer League. All these games will be either on ESPN or NBA TV. So they're easy to catch.
So, yeah, if you want to go catch your VFLs in the NBA, you know where to find them, the NBA Summer League, because they're showing out, especially Kennedy Chandler, who's had a really nice first few games with Memphis in his hometown. All right, that's been it for Rock Solid Sports. For Kat, Justin, Connor over at the Hill Bar and Grill, our gracious Friday sponsor, I'm Joseph Bonanno. So long and good night.